Hello there, and welcome back to A Blessing in Divorce. Today we're talking about Valentine's Day. It's just a couple of weeks away, and I thought this would be a good time for us to start talking about how to get through that day and make plans so that it doesn't kind of hit you where it hurts. I know Valentine's Day can be really hard for people who are single, people who are going through divorce, people who are having problems in their marriage or their relationship, so that maybe, the day's not being celebrated in the way that the whole world seems to be celebrating it. So let's talk about that and let's really get into some options. I have 10 for you. Let's do this. Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Blessing in Divorce. I am so grateful to be allowed into your headset and day today. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm the host of this podcast and the owner and founder of The Separation Club, which is the club you never wanted to be part of, but the best club to be in if you're going through separation and divorce. Here we talk about how to heal, move forward, and find love if you're so inclined. Also, motherhood through divorce, finding yourself, and creating the life you deserve. Our tools are community, sisterhood, honesty, vulnerability, spirituality, and coaching. And that's when we aren't talking to our experts. I'm also a divorced mother of 4 adult sons, remarried, and a stepmom to 3. So we will be talking about everything that goes with all of that here. If you are recently separated, thinking of separating, divorcing, or even beyond your divorce, but still feeling it, then this is the podcast for you. Valentine's Day, the hallmark holiday of the year. Many will say that that's who created it. I know that there is a much older origin for Valentine's Day than a Hallmark holiday, but Hallmark, if you will, has certainly made a business out of capitalizing on this day. The stores are filled with cards and there's pink and red everywhere. And you know what? It is actually a coincidence that I'm wearing like a 2-tone pink sweater today, but maybe it's, maybe it was just meant to be that way. But either way, Valentine's Day, basically as soon as Christmas has been put away, Valentine's Day is on the shelves. You can see it everywhere. Buy your Valentine a teddy bear, chocolates, jewelry, whatever. It is everywhere. It's pretty hard to avoid. And if it's a day that's triggering for you, it can feel that much harder. So first, let's start by, and I say this every year, and I did an episode last year as well. It'll be different than this one. So if you want to go listen to that one, by all means. And I'm going to say the same thing again, because I think it bears repeating, is that it's just another day. February 14th falls on a Wednesday this year, which is kind of good if you think about it, because Wednesday, what do people usually do on Wednesdays? They have their own routines. They might have kids' activities to take their kids to. They might have, maybe that's the day that they go to yoga class. It becomes like a normal day. And then there are people who decide to do something really special that day because they're in a relationship and, that's the expectation, right? Remember that. These are expectations that on this day there needs to happen something really special. And so that can make it feel really, really hard because it seems like everybody in the entire world is celebrating their love that day. And they have these amazing people just then sending them these gorgeous boxes of flowers and chocolates. But we don't know very much about what's going on in their home life, except for the fact of what you might see arrive in the office that day. I remember years ago, decades ago, I don't even know if it's a thing anymore, but I remember working in an office and it was all about getting that big box of roses that day. It was like, who are the women who get those? And I wanted to be one of the women who got a box of roses. Now, at the time when I was working in this office, I wasn't married and I had a boyfriend, but he wasn't that kind of a boyfriend. He just didn't send me an expensive, I think they cost like $200 now to send a box like that of a dozen roses. So, or maybe it costs more. I actually have no idea. But there was so much ego involved in that. Ego on the part of the person sending it, ego on the part of the person receiving it. Like there were expectations. And Valentine's Day, if we're going to look at it in its purest form, is a day for lovers. It is a day to celebrate their love for each other. And that does not need to be some public display that everybody has to watch for it to be real. But that's what it ends up being. So I just want to remind you that just because you are not receiving a box of roses or don't have super romantic plans does not mean that you're the only person in the world who's not loved today. I think we need to also remember the Valentine's days that you did have as a married person. Maybe yours were really romantic and wonderful. Mine were not. I was married to one of those guys who's like, oh, just because it's February 14th doesn't mean I have to do ABC, right? So he used it as an excuse not to do something. I tried to tell him he should use it as an excuse to do something. But I can't say that, when I was separated, that suddenly Valentine's Day was such a painful day. It was actually kind of nice because I could go into it with zero expectations. And so what Valentine's Day became for me was a day of, like I said, zero expectations and therefore zero disappointment. I spent many of the Valentine's days married, very disappointed over what happened because I wanted certain things to happen that day and they didn't. And, it was just nice to not have that. So instead of thinking of it as a day that emphasizes how alone you are or that you're no longer married, maybe think of it as a day that you can focus on yourself, or a day where you can let go of any expectations and therefore disappointments. It is what you think it is. If you say that you're lonely, then you are. If you make plans to love yourself and you say that you love yourself and that that's good enough on this day, then it is. So first of all, I guess my very first advice to you, even though it's got nothing to do, well, not nothing to do, but it's not part of the 10 things I'm going to tell you today. My first advice to you, I guess, really is to decide within yourself what that day is to you, what it's going to be for you on that day, right? So I would like to make this the year that we stop defining our worth, by how much we are publicly loved, right? Okay. So your worth as a human being, as a partner, as a lover, as a person, as anything is not determined by what happens or what someone else does for you on that day. The two are not connected at all. And in fact, just because somebody receives the most amazing gifts or gets whisked away on a holiday doesn't mean that they have a wonderful relationship. Nothing means anything. This is between them and whatever else is going on in their life. It's none of our business. But stop attaching your own value to these very external things just because it's February 14th, right? So make this the year that you either stop and kind of ignore the year or the day, or if you can't ignore the day, then make some plans so that this can be a good day for you. Plan something nice for yourself. Be your own lover. These are also the tips I'm going to give you, by the way, could also be incorporated on other days that are difficult, like birthdays, anniversaries. Maybe you've taken a couple of days off for yourself, whatever, just to take a break from work. And you find yourself feeling no lonely because you have no one to make plans with, then these can also be some great suggestions. So grab a pen and paper if you can. If not, just listen if you're walking or driving, and then you can go back and take another look at this later, or you can check out the show notes as well. But let's get into some of the ideas. So I have 10 ideas for you today for things you can do to make this day feel okay for you. And like I said earlier, this day becomes what you want it to be. It becomes what you say it is. So if it's a day that reminds you of how lonely you are and that's what you're focused on, you're going to feel lonely. If you decide, no, I am changing the narrative, I want to create a beautiful day for myself. I can't ignore it because it's just in my face. So it's not like I can pretend like it isn't happening. So I'm going to make it a good day for me. Then that's what it'll be. And that's what these tips are all about. So they're in no particular order of importance or, to be done. And, you just pick. Just for now, just listen and see what resonates with you. So number 1, let's talk about the flowers. If flowers are important to you, if the whole idea of getting flowers matters, buy yourself some gorgeous flowers. Bring them in and put them on your desk, in the morning at work. If that's what you want, have them sent to yourself if you want to, or just order some and have them delivered to your home and just have this gorgeous display of flowers for yourself when you get home. The other thing that I would suggest doing, maybe you and your friend just agree to send each other flowers. Maybe you have a single friend who also loves to get flowers. We all like flowers. Like, come on, they're beautiful and they brighten up the day. Maybe you and your friend decide to send each other flowers so you can surprise each other. You don't know exactly what you're getting, and then you can send each other a beautiful bouquet of flowers to celebrate your friendship and your love for each other on this day. So that's how you deal with the flower problem, if that matters to you. Number 2, call your best friends, your BFFs, okay? No one can make you feel better, on that day than your best friends can do. Ask her for a little time on this day. Maybe you go grab lunch together. Maybe you have a coffee together in the morning. Maybe you have a single friend, like a really close friend, and you go and make plans for dinner together. But either way, lean on your friends that day. If you need to have a good cry, call your girlfriend and have a good cry. Get it out of your system so that you can get on with the day, right? All right, number 3. And I kind of mentioned this already, but we're going to get into it a little bit more, is to make plans with other single friends. Remember, you're not the only person who doesn't have a romantic partner on Valentine's Day. There are lots of single people out there, and there are a lot of single people who find it very difficult, and who also found it very difficult all those years that you were with someone, for example. Go and create a special evening for all of you. Like, get together with them, talk to them now. Like, this is why I'm putting this out early. I'm not waiting till the last minute. I want you to start making plans now. If you are already feeling it, if you are seeing the decorations in the store, you're already thinking about Valentine's Day, then you need to make plans for yourself on that day. So get in touch with single friends, send out a memo at work and say, hey, who here is feeling a bit kind of left out on Valentine's Day? I'd like to make plans with you, and see who you get a response from. You just never know. Maybe you could have a really fun night out with some good friends, some new friends. I don't know. Anything is possible. But it certainly is a lot better to start taking action, to make plans with people, than to just sit and wait and feel lonely and like, why didn't anybody call me? Be the one who makes the phone call. All right? Be that person. Number 4, make plans for yourself. So I mentioned earlier that, it's a Wednesday night this year. So you might already have plans. Maybe you have a regular yoga class. Go to class. Maybe you have, whatever. Like, make plans. Go to a movie. Go to the gym. Maybe you go to a Zumba class. Maybe you, maybe you take a pottery class. Now, I will say that if you are extremely triggered about all things Valentine's Day, on this particular day, most likely anywhere you go, they're going to mention Valentine's Day. They're going to have, a theme, or they're going to have decorations out. They probably will talk about it. So make sure that you're able to not, like, that doesn't ruin your yoga class or your fitness class or your whatever you decide to do if Valentine's Day is mentioned. But if you feel that you can manage that, then just go and be busy that day and say to yourself that you're just being your own lover today. You are just busy loving yourself and having fun, spending the evening with yourself. I mean, after all, if nothing else, you can 100% agree with you about what you want to do. There's going to be no disagreement. There's going to be no disappointment. It's like, I want to go to a yoga class. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to love it. And then you can go to the yoga class and have a wonderful class and go home and go to sleep, right? So you get to decide, and there's no arguments about it. All right, so that was number 4. Number 5, plan a movie night. So for many of you, I know that simply going out is going to be triggering. I mean, it's just lovers everywhere, couples, all the restaurants are all booked up. You probably can't even get a reservation. So, when I mentioned going out with friends, places like pubs and bars and stuff are probably more available because all the restaurants are not all booked up with all the lovers who are going out to mark Valentine's Day. So if you decide that you just want to stay away from the entire scene, maybe you plan a movie night in. Okay, it could be with a friend. It could be just you. You could even go to the theaters, but make sure you are choosing like an action flick or even a horror flick or something. Like, no rom-coms, no love stories, no sweeping epic romantic dramas, nothing like that. Just choose something that's full of action and it's got you at the edge of your seat. Maybe an old movie you've seen before that you always thought was really good, or a comedy or something, but just make sure you're keeping the romance out of it if that's going to be triggering for you. Maybe even like, maybe this is the night to watch that excellent documentary that you always wanted to watch, or that documentaries on the topic that maybe your ex just like was not into them and didn't want to watch them, but now you can sit down and you can dive into the animal kingdom, or the history of whatever. Like, just there are so many excellent documentaries out there on just about any subject you can either imagine or that you've never even heard of. So maybe jump into the documentary section of Netflix or something like that and find something interesting to watch that keeps your mind busy and occupied. And so at the end of the night, you feel like you've learned something, or that you have kind of dove into something that you wouldn't have explored before. And that can be really fulfilling and really, that can be really fulfilling, plain and simple. So I think that is a great idea for you as well. Number 6, you could go all out and plan a spa day or weekend, either alone or with a friend. So again, if you are, maybe that's what you used to do, and maybe you're feeling really left out because your friends are doing these great things. And even though Valentine's Day is happening on a Wednesday, I am sure you'll have friends or coworkers who are waiting till the weekend to do something special together. So there's going to be, again, that element of Valentine's Day is going to be kind of spread over that week, I guess, a little bit. And if you, again, feel that you're going to miss out on that and you really wish you were doing something like that, well, then do something like that. But do it either just for yourself, like intentionally, I am going to make a plan to go do something that I would love to do in the way that I want to do it. I don't have to consider anyone else. I kind of celebrating the idea of loving yourself big time without having to consider anyone else, maybe like you had to before. Or go and do something again with your best friend or some single friends from work. Maybe you do an overnight spa somewhere. I don't know. Use your imagination and go and do something. Like, if you want to do something big, go do something big. Plan it, get excited about it, make sure it's something that's going to make you feel great. Number 7 might be my favorite, and that is to go on a date with your kids, if you have kids. This could be young children or adults. Now, of course, if they're adults, they might be busy with their own boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever. And they might also think that going out with mom on Valentine's Day feels weird. But if you have young kids, younger than teenagers anyway, I can guarantee you they will love it. You are their Valentine. You are the love of their life. And they would like nothing more than to spend the day with you. There's nothing sad or pathetic about this. It's just spending a day with people you love more than anything else, anyone else in the world, rather, and who love you the same way. So it is a beautiful opportunity for you to do something special with them. And if you're in a situation where your ex is with someone else and wants to spend Valentine's Day with, their new love, and how painful that might be, you can throw your hand up and say, I'll take the kids, I'll take them overnight, even if it's not your day, and you go and do something special. And remember that those are precious memories that one day you'll be just clamoring to have another dinner with them. I know my kids are adults, they're not spending Valentine's Day with me, I can tell you that. So try to do something really special with them and tell them ahead of time, like, let's plan something special on Valentine's Day together. What do you guys want to do? What would be fun? Here's what I would like to do. What if everybody picks one activity and we do all 3 or 4 or 2 things, whatever it may be. Plan something fun and don't make it just about them. Teach them that they also have to participate in something that's fun for you. Ultimately, the goal is to do something together where you're all enjoying yourselves, right? That's the goal. So you find a way, depending on their age, how to make that happen. If they're young, maybe it is just a really cozy night in with a movie or 2 movies and some popcorn. Maybe you spend the evening making Valentine's Day cookies. Just make it special, plan it ahead of time, get everything organized. The thing you want to watch out for here is that we can get so almost invested in, or fully immersed and engaged in the sorrow of not having a romantic love in our life, that we get so that we don't even notice all the love that we do have in our lives. Think about your parents. I don't know if they're alive or if they're nearby, but I bet they're not doing anything terribly special for Valentine's Day. If you have nothing else going on, I bet they'd love to see you. You're their child, after all. They would love to spend time with you. We get so caught up in what we don't have, that we don't see what we do have. And on this Valentine's Day, whatever stage of your divorce or whatever stage your marriage is in, or whatever's going on in that area of your life, I really want to encourage you to shift that focus, that perspective just a little bit away from what you don't have and start thinking about what you do have. Where is there love in your life? Where is the love coming from now that you don't get love from this person anymore? How can you celebrate that love? How can you get more of that on this day of love? How can you show gratitude for it? How can you harness it? How can you spend time in that love, that friendship with your children, with your parents, with yourself? How can you make this a loving day without making it about, oh, but I don't have this particular person who, by the way, happens to be treating me like crap, right? Change your perspective. Change how you think about this day. And the day will be different. If you decide that you're going to have a beautiful and loving Valentine's Day with the people that you love and who love you in your life, and don't make it about that it has to be a romantic partner, you're going to have a wonderful day. And that's what we're trying to make happen here. So whether you're planning a day with your kids or your parents or your friends or your coworkers or whatever you're doing, do it fully. Invest in it fully, like in your mind, like I'm going to have a great time spending time with good friends, with my family, with my kids, whatever it is. And do that. Believe in that, and you will have a really nice day. All right, let's move on to number 8. So maybe doing something symbolic of Valentine's Day. In other words, creating some other kind of Valentine's Day with your friends or your family or your kids or whatever is not your thing. That's fine. Maybe just plan to do something else that night, or just even plan to have a night in and have a list of things on hand that you love to do when you're on your own. For example, read a book or have a long bath. Or you could journal. You could pull out your joy journal. And if you haven't ordered your joy journal yet, by the way, the link will be in the show notes. But in the joy journal, there are some pages. There's the vision pages. There's also your dreams and pages and your intention. Maybe you haven't had time to really sit down and understand what those pages are all about. So maybe this is the day that you do that. Maybe this is the day that you write some words of wisdom for yourself on words to live by. Just sit down with your journal, turn on some Nora Jones or whatever your music would be, make a nice cup of tea and dream a little. Write down some of your dreams, cut out some pictures from a magazine or print some stuff down from the web and put it on like in your journal so that you can look at them. Do something. Just get your mind busy with your future and starting to make some plans maybe, or just dreaming a little bit. Just forget about Valentine's Day. Think about the vacation you'd like to go on, maybe this spring or summer. Maybe you've been thinking of coming to Costa Rica with me next year. Our retreat's pretty much full for this year, but we already have one planned for 2025. Maybe you want to come with us to Italy in June of this year. Maybe you go online and take a look at those pictures and print one down. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I can't afford that, but I am dreaming of it. I would love to be able to go. Well, cut out a picture and put it in your vision pages. Who knows what might happen? But spend the evening doing something that you enjoy. That's for you. And it doesn't have to be symbolic of anything else. You don't have to think of it as anything else. Just what are you doing on the 14th? 14th? I don't know. It's Wednesday. I'm going to go home and read. I'm going to go home and journal. I'm going to go home and watch a movie. Just make it easy. Number 9. This is an important one. Stay off social media. if this is going to be a triggering day for you, and you know if it will be, because you're already feeling it, like you're already feeling a bit of anxiety around it, maybe even listening to this podcast is feeling triggering in some way, but you still want the advice. I get it. Like, I get that it can be really hard, especially if this is the first year. So stay off social media. Stay away from any kind of, these braggy sort of declarations of love that people love to put up there. Oh, my amazing husband or my beautiful wife gave me this, or is taking me away, or look at the flowers, or whatever. All of these, I don't know, people love to post that stuff, and that's triggering. Maybe your ex has met someone new and they might post, right? You don't want to see that. So stay off social media. And I would say stay off starting like the day before, because that's when you're going to see people talk about plans, and then all day on Valentine's Day, and maybe even the next day, because a lot of people won't post until the next day. Like, just stay off for a couple of days. Just don't go there. And if you happen to open it up again, then on Thursday or Friday, and immediately see some of these posts, just scroll or hit a like. And, if it's a friend and you want to be supportive, but you don't have to jump in. You don't have to look at the pictures. Don't torture yourself. Okay. Don't do that. Just chill. Just bypass for a few days. I think we sometimes forget that just because someone posts a picture of something, or just because someone is throwing stuff up on, vomiting their life onto social media, does not mean that we have to engage. We don't have to respond. We don't have to like every picture. We can pretend that we didn't see it. You could just simply say, I didn't see your picture, if they are arrogant enough to ask, like, how come you didn't like my picture? I didn't see it. Just don't do social media for a couple of days. All right. Now, the last one kind of sort of wraps it all together a little bit. It's with all the things that I've just suggested, I'd like you to start today, because it's far enough away. I want you to start making a list of things. So it's 2 weeks from today that Valentine's Day is happening, if you're listening to it on the day that this podcast or this episode is released. But start making a list today of things that you can do, want to do. Choose the favorite ideas that I've just given you. Choose the ones that resonate with you, that make sense, that you'd like to do. And that way you're not leaving it to chance. Okay, that's really what I want you to avoid, is don't put it off. If you think you're just going to like hermit Valentine's Day, meaning I'm just gonna go home, close my blinds and crawl into bed, then fine. Then that's what you do, and that's fine. But plan that. Okay? Don't leave it to chance. Don't think, it'd be fun to get together with friends, but if they want to get together with me, they'll let me know. No, be the person who calls. Like, make a plan. Choose what you want to do. Choose of all these ideas. If you know you need something to keep you busy, then choose something I've suggested today. Make a plan and make it happen. Just get excited about it. Like, it becomes a day of whatever it is that you've planned for it to be. So write it in the calendar. Don't have to write Valentine's Day. You could write something like, it's going to be movie night, or it's going to be a night out with friends, or it's going to be, that's the night I start my new book or something. So maybe you need to get on Amazon and order that book now. Or maybe you go on Netflix and start planning the documentary lineup for that night. Like, just plan it so that it is not left to chance. Making sure you have your favorite tea at home, or your favorite wine, or the popcorn, or, make it a special night for yourself. Honor it, plan it, make it all happen. And you will find that you have a very nice evening, and that maybe it isn't so bad. And in fact, it might be one of the best Wednesdays you've had in a long time, because who does anything special on a Wednesday anymore, right? So since you made all these plans for yourself, even though it wasn't a romantic dinner at some restaurant, chances are you had a really fun evening, or a quiet, nice evening, or whatever you decided to have. And that's a heck of a lot better than sitting at home wondering what your ex is doing, wondering if you're going to be alone forever, feeling sorry for yourself, feeling sad. That would suck. Okay? So let's make sure that is not what you're spending your evening doing. It's just another day Let's get through it. Let's make plans. Let's be loving and kind towards ourselves and honor our feelings and recognize that this is going to be a hard day, and therefore I'm going to make sure it's not. Okay, you can do everything you can. And you know what? Valentine's Day rolls around and you just end up lying in a ball crying anyway. It just didn't work. That's okay too, because then Thursday rolls around and the day is over. It is just a day. You can get through this. I am proud of you for the work you're doing on yourself. Thank you for listening to this today and all my ideas. I would love to hear from you about your favorite idea. So please go and find me on social media, on Instagram. All the links are below, either the Elizabeth Joy 444 or the Joy Journal 444. I would love to hear your favorite idea or the one that you're going to do. In fact, take a picture of what you're going to do or what you do that night and tag me. I would love to share the fun things that you're choosing to do for Valentine's Day for yourself. It's been, as always, a true honor to be here with you today. And thank you for allowing me into your headset and your day. And I wish you a happy Valentine's Day. I think you're amazing, and I know that you can create a beautiful and loving evening for yourself that day, no matter what you decide that is. You're worthy of it, you deserve it, and you're deserving of all the other things you might feel as well. So just be kind, be gracious with yourself, be patient. The healing journey can be bumpy, but you're getting there, one episode at a time, one day at a time, one crying fit at a time, and I'm really, really proud of you. So we'll talk again soon. Have a beautiful day.